Today I'm going to show you how to separate your wax cappings or your waxes left over after filtration, which looks basically like this, into a product that looks more like this. So we're basically going to turn this into this. And this is normally, once you've extracted your honey and you've filtered it through a filter, you'll be left with a lump of wax mixed with bees, pollen and odd things which you want to really clean up. So you take your filter, and I've already done this for a while, get a bucket full of warm water and just wash it in there, sort of dip it in there, dip the whole lot in there and try and get all the honey washed out. There might be a little bit of honey left in, just sort of cleans it out and squeeze it out. That's nice warm water. Open it up, and that's pretty much your dirty wax, which now we're going to filter through a different system. So you take that. What we've used is an old tin. You can use a pot, but I wouldn't go and steal a pot from the kitchen because this is very messy and it'll probably never end up looking the same as it did before you started. So we put the wax into a tin or an old pot, get some water, just good clean water, cover the wax, just enough to cover it. This will form a layer that all the rubbish goes into. So what's going to happen is this is going to melt. We're going to put it on a little gas stove. You can do it on the kitchen stove, but I would recommend keeping this out of the kitchen. It can get very messy. We put on a little gas stove. I'm just going to heat it up. Now what's going to happen is the wax is going to melt, the wax will float to the top, and all the impurities will go into the water at the bottom. And then we're going to filter that off into a mold. I've just used a bucket. We're going to have a filter over the top. We're going to pour that mixture into there and let it filter through, and the wax will solidify on the top. We've left this for about 15 minutes. It's boiling, all the wax is melted. The wax has come to the top and all the water's at the bottom. And while we've been letting that melt, we've taken a piece of material. This is like curtain material or fine mesh. And we've just taken a plastic bucket. You can use any container. We've taped it on top, taped it around the top of a bucket to form a filter that's going to capture all the rubbish that's in there. And that will form the mold for the wax. So what we'll do is, just be careful, this is very hot, so use some gloves or something. Take that off the gas, you can see it's all nice and melted in there. And then very carefully, this can get messy, very carefully we pour the whole lot through. It should filter through nicely. You can see it's catching all the rubbish. Water, wax, everything goes through. That's it. Now this we need to leave in a place where it cools slowly. Give it a good wiggle and get all the wax through. And we'll leave this to cool very slowly. The faster it cools, the more it cracks on top. But what we're going to do, we'll show you next. We'll take this off and show you what happens. It should have a nice thin layer of wax on top with the water underneath. And if there's any more impurities, the impurities tend to go into the water. So you should end up with a nice clean layer of wax on top. We'll show you that once this is cooled. So let this cool. Give it time to cool. It could take about an hour or two. You don't want to do it straight away. At least 2 hours. Let it cool. This is now the final product, the beeswax. We've taken the filter off, and you can have a look here. This is what's left inside. The wax is floated to the top, and the water with all the impurities is on the bottom. So what we'll do is, it's still quite warm, but we've let it set. We'll just pour off the water, and then we'll catch the wax. That's all the wax there. We'll just roll that into a nice ball while it's still warm. You can let it go rock hard, but it's quite nice to roll it when it's soft into a nice ball. Basically, that's your beeswax. You can filter it again if you want to, but you can melt that down now and you can use it for candles or for lip balm or for many other uses. It's pure beeswax.